Okay, welcome back, viewers. If you missed out on part one, I'll put a link in the description below. But as you can see, Borodino, a situation at Borodino, and the French have moved up. There's been a little bit of artillery fire. As you can see, some smoke about the place. I'll tidy that up in a second, and we'll get on with turn two. Okay, so the artillery have reloaded, and we'll start with the momentum.
Now the advance. It is the momentum phase.
Okay, so the French have got 8 and the Russians have got 6. Both guys are going to keep their generals for the intervention phase and keep their generals on the table.
Step 2, the skirmish phase.
Okay, and then turn 2 is skirmish phase. So the Russians have won this skirmish phase again, and they win by a factor of 2, so they get an extra momentum, and they will be acting first.
Oh, yes. I must do something. It is the intervention phase. Now is a time for action. It is the orders phase.
So one more for the Russians, and they will be going first. Okay, so the Russians have the initiative. They're going to go first, and they will do a bombard. So I intend to just play through the turn, and I'll stop and give you any highlights as we go. Okay, Russian bombardment. They'll use their artillerist, so we can re-roll. So they'll be hitting on 4s. And luckily they've got an artillerist. They can re-roll. So 3 hits. And 4+ to convert them into actual hits. 1 actual hit. And the other battery, no rerolls. Oh, but 4 hits. And then conversion. Oh, nothing. Oh no. Okay, so the Russian guns opened up, but not much happening. The Russians haven't got anything that they particularly want to do at the moment, so they're going to hand initiative over to the French. And as the French player, I'm going to push the attack on the left flank to start off with. That's the right flank where I have the Hussars in reserve. They're ready to go. But the left flank, which is the 3rd Brigade, they're going to push the attack. So I'm going to move the 3rd Brigade forward. Okay, so the 3rd Brigade has moved up. And the Russians will interrupt and volley. Okay, so these guys will fire here. 4s. Three hits. 4+ to an actual disruption. 2. Okay, and then these guys here. 4s. 2 hits. Nothing. So some ineffective volley fire there. The French will interrupt their own. So they have the direction down to 6. They're going to move up the 2nd Brigade in the middle. Okay, 2nd Brigade moving up. And that's them moved up. So the Russians could interrupt. Yeah, they'll interrupt and move themselves, I think. The Jaeger has moved up and they're heading for those woods. Okay, so the Jaeger have moved up on the Russian left flank there. I'm not sure why they did that, but it seemed like a good idea at the time. I went and had a coffee and I've come back and I thought, why are the Jaeger moving up on the left flank? But anyway, there might be method in the madness of the artificial intelligence. Who knows? It might be a good idea. Okay, so they're going to pass now, the Russians. I think they've blundered enough. So it'll be up to the French. Okay, so a quick overview from the Marshal Ney's position here. We can see that the Jaeger have moved up on the on our right. The 2nd Brigade has moved up to attack the middle defensive position, and the 3rd Brigade has moved up to attack on the left. So we still have the 1st waiting to move up. So I think we're going to have to move them up, and then we've got the Hussars waiting as well. Then out on our left flank, we've still got the Dragoons to move up. So we've got to get these guys up. There's no point them having them sitting there. So the French will move. Which brigade we're going to move is a good question. I think we're just going to move the 1st Brigade up in a big line and try and echelon across to threaten the Jaeger. Okay, so the 1st Brigade is going to move forward. So these guys want to move up, but as soon as they come within 4, movement is going to be reduced. So I'll move them to there. That gets them within 4, and then they'll have another 1 to move up. And then the other guys will be able to move up. So that's the 1st Brigade has moved up with their commander. Nothing special. The commander is just a marker that I use to check where the brigades are. You might be wondering what these guys are in the red uniform. So when I painted these a long time ago, I think these are Swiss. So that's my Swiss battalion. There they are. The Russians are not going to interrupt. They're going to hold their nerves of steel, and the French are going to keep moving. Okay, well, I'd really like to move my Dragoons up, so I'm going to give them a move. So down to 4 momentum, and the Dragoons, they move quite quick. In mass, they're going to move 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. Lucky I have this measuring stick here. They're going to move up there. We'll have this grand plan that the Dragoons are going to charge through the gap between the 2 defensive positions and cause havoc in the enemy rear. Okay, so now the Dragoons have moved up on the French left. I think I did rally wrong last video. You might notice that I did a rally as a global order and it's only a force order. Anyway, I'll fix that up in this in turn 2. So turn 2, I'm not going to rally at the moment anyway. The French are going to issue a volley order. We've got a few units up in volley range, so they're going to issue a volley. Okay, so my French and their nice greatcoats are going to volley up the hill there. Are those guys behind the defences? They'll need 5. Whoa. 4 hits. Well done, lads. Okay, and their musketeers, so 4+ to convert. And they got 2 hits on them. These guys are going to shoot at the artillery behind the defences. Note there, they need 5s. 2 hits. Or a couple of 6s here would be good to get rid of that artillery. No, doesn't even add up to... these guys, another unit in their nice greatcoats will shoot at those guys there. They're not behind it into defences. So 4. 3 hits. So we can convert them into disrupt. Oh, nothing. Not many guys are falling over. Okay, these guys up at the battalion up behind the defences. 5. Oh, not bad. 3 hits. See if they can convert them. Oh, 2 actual hits on that. So here I've got the column, which will get 2 dice at the artillery, plus this battalion will get the 6 dice. So 8 dice at the artillery there, needing 5s. Oh, 2 hits. What's wrong with these blue dice? All right, well, we can get a double 6 here and take the artillery out. Let's see what happens. Oh, no hits. Nothing on the artillery. On the right flank, they moved up to try and head the Jaeger off from the woods. So they've got They've got a 45-degree arc, but that one's out of range. So they'll have 2, 4, 5 dice at them, needing 4s. One hit. And it's an actual hit, so one actual hit. The whole French army has fired, but not too much disruption. A little bit, it'll add up, hopefully, over a number of turns. Let's see what happens later on. One of the problems I am faced with now is that the French artillery is deployed, but there's just nothing to shoot at because everything is screened. We have troops going up the hills towards the defences, so the artillery is going to have to limber up and move, but I'm running out of momentum. Same with these guns. If I look up there, there's just too much French in the way, too many friends in the way to be able to shoot up there over the hill. I know they're up on top of the hill there in the defences, but the rules don't allow me to shoot overhead. So I'm just going to have to think about what I'm going to do with the artillery. Anyway, so the Russians can interrupt. They wish that their guns were loaded. I'm going to put something in the AI about maybe hold the bombardment until if it looks like the guns might be able to get a volley off. Anyway, there'll be plenty of targets next turn if they can win the initiative first as well. So the Russians will not interrupt. They'll let the French keep blundering away. I'm tempted to move the hussars up. There's plenty of targets there, but there's a killing field in front of the 1st Brigade. So the 1st Brigade's moved up in line, and so the hussars, I'm just going to hang on to them, and they're just going to do a move and just move up behind those lines there, ready for later on. So I'm just going to move them up. Okay, so they've moved up. They're in support. They're in reserve. They're waiting. Okay, so the hussars have moved up on the right flank. Haven't overcommitted them yet. And I've got 2 momentum left. So I'm going to pass and force the Russians to do something. So the Russian 1st Brigade, which is here, they're just going to move. These guys are within 4 now. So they're reduced movement, so they're just going to wheel. So that's them moved up a little bit. The French are going to decline to interrupt, so the Russians are just going to do a rally for the 2nd Brigade. No, the 1st Brigade's going to try and rally, the one on the hill. So these guys are going to try and rally. Their charismatic leader is nearby, plus they're Russians, so they rally on a 3+ anyway because they're resolute. And they get to re-roll. So they rally both those hits off. So those 2 hits come off. Okay, then on the Russian extreme right flank, they're going to issue an order to their 2nd Brigade, who have got 2 hits on that battalion, and they'll try and rally them. So 3+, no re-rolls this time, but 3+ because they're resolute, and they rally both of those off as well. So lots of good rallying happening. So it leaves the Russians with 1 momentum. They're going to pass, and so the French, I've got a couple of options there, but I'd like to limber up my artillery, although that's not going to help me next turn either, having them limbered, so I'm going to do some rallying myself. Yeah, so the French will do some rallying as well. So the 2nd Brigade has got a couple of hits on them over there, so they'll rally them. So we'll try and rally these guys. They're close to the enemy, so they're going to need 4s to get rid of those hits. Come on, blue dice, 4s. Oops, so 1 comes off and 1 becomes a permanent hit. So 1 permanent hit on those guys. The Russians have got 1 momentum left. Do they want to interrupt? I don't think so, because the French have got 1 left as well, which they could use to rally, or I could use it to limber up my artillery and start them moving. So do a global formation change. So the Russians are not going to interrupt yet, or they could interrupt and rally. There's no more votes. They do have a couple of options for volleying. So I spend most of my time trying to decide what the AI is going to do. So I need to work on my AI a bit more so that it'll take over the job, all those decisions that I'm thinking about. Interrupt or not, there should be a weighting of how much value they would get out of interrupting. And then they reach a certain threshold and then they would interrupt, perhaps. Anyway, I'm thinking about it, working on it. Any ideas, let me know. But at the moment, they're not going to interrupt. The French will have to just do their rally, and that brigade is going to get a rally order in the middle here. So these guys are going to rally. They've got one on them, so they're near the enemy, and they need a 4 up. They've got the charismatic Marshal Ney is nearby. He's moved up with the 1st Brigade, so he's going to allow them a re-roll. And they need a 4. They're going to re-roll. These blue dice are so crap. Give me another one. Oh, that's worse. So they've got a permanent hit on them now. Well, that was a bummer. Looks like the French are all out of momentum. The Russians have got one left. And they will do a sneaky volley. They've held onto their powder with a couple of units. Let's have a look. We've got the this battalion on the hill here, and we've got the Jaeger over there. Have held their powder. These guys, they might have a shot as well. So we might have a couple of little pot shots here and there. This unit that's in the defences here, and then they've got 1, 2, 3 bases that can reach this battalion here. This base over here has got this battalion here in its arc. So I'll do this base first, firing at them. One dice. Use the red dice for the Russians. They seem to fire best. So that one base firing misses. And then the other 2 bases, 2 central bases firing, and the one on the left need 4s. Ooh, 3 hits. And then 4s to convert against the French infantry. Ooh, 2 hits on them. So a good volley there. Then the Jaeger in range, and they've got 1 and 2, and this is in range to shoot at them. So that'll give them 5 dice to shoot at that battalion there in front of them. And they get 2 hits, and see if they can convert them. 1 actual hit on them. So they put a little bit of disorder into the French lines, and that's the end of the turn. The Russians used their last momentum for a volley, but I've just found one more base that's in range. So that base there is in range in the middle there, so they may as well have a shot. So during a volley, it's the last volley, last throw of the dice. That base is in range and in arc, so they may as well fire. Oh, and then they miss. Anti-climactic.
Now the status phase. Check for victory too.
So that is the end of the turn, and the defences are holding. Not too many hits have been taken by either side, really. A few here and there, but the Russians are still holding the defences, and so they are winning. That's their objective, is to hang on. The French, they're about to pounce. It's all going to happen in turn 3. I thought more would have happened in turn 2, but the French were still moving up. But everybody is up very close now. There's going to be a lot of reacting and a lot of carnage, I think. So as Marshal Ney confers with his aide-de-camp and so on there, and sending messages out and wondering what might have been if he had deployed his artillery better, we will leave you now at the end of turn 2. And I'll come back with turn 3. So this video's got long enough as it is, so I'll break it up into sections, and we'll see what happens. The French are pressing for the attack now, and we'll see what happens on turn 3. Things are about to get interesting. So thanks for watching. I'll put a link in the description to part 1 if you missed that. So this is the end of turn 2. Stay tuned for turn 3 and beyond, and we'll see if the French can take those fortifications. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.